Movie World have yet again released a cool little teaser video on their social media for Scooby Doo Spooky Coaster 3.0. Like my last video, which a lot of you enjoyed, I thought I'd do another quick breakdown video delving into each scene. First we have this guy called Mike, dressed up in Scooby Doo drip, hanging out by the ride's entrance. We then get a pretty good look at the large open section of the queue where he chills out with one of the statues, good to have these back, and if we look into the background we can see a large castle-style themed wall. This is great to see, as during Next Generation it was just plain black unthemed walls for the most part. Next we can see a screen. If we pivo into some photos also shared by the park, we can see the screen in action, showing a clip from the movie. It will be interesting to see if it's behind the scenes footage like in the original ride, or if it's just clips from a movie like in Next Generation. Also in the photos, the iconic fountain is back and it looks fantastic. Very pleased with this. And we can also see some cool torch effects which look really cool. I don't remember seeing these in Next Generation, but they were in the original ride. It's also great to see the entire queue getting used here, as during Next Generation the entire right side was frequently boarded up so they could use it for functions and the like. Also the lighting is a lot different, giving it a purpley blue hue. Okay, back to Mike's video. We then get a few technical behind the scenes clips of the ride. I honestly don't understand this too much, but regardless it's interesting to see. I believe the magnetic brakes mentioned here are a new feature for 3.0 which will probably help things. And then we get a preview of one of the new screens for the ride. Still not a fan of the attraction having this, but oh well. Anyway, this is the first screen, which used to be home to those awful PS2 monsters in Next Generation, right at the beginning of the ride after the first drop. It's showing a 3D recreation of some elements from the spooky castle scene in the movie, showing the jester on the chandelier, the monster food that grabbed Scooby and Shaggy, and some other cool details. Honestly, at first I was like, this doesn't look great, you know, is this made by AI or something? But after looking closely, I think it looks fine. I'm guessing they used the same studio who worked on the fantastic Leviathan and Wizard of Oz 3D visuals, and yeah, I think it will look much better in person. As I understand it wouldn't show up well in, you know, a vertical social media video. Next we have a quick clip of one of the elements getting installed in the ride. I think part of the lift, and we then get some footage of the classic Night Scooby animatronic. I talked about his return in my last video, and yeah, it's great to have him back properly. Back to the lifts or elevators, we then see some footage of them running. This for sure is one of the ride's best moments, and honestly it's still impressive technically to this day. You know, sitting in a roller coaster car and actually having it move onto a lift is a really cool feeling, you know, when you only get on a handful of coasters. And zooming in, it looks like it's screenless, which is fantastic. Scrappy's inclusion here in Next Generation was definitely one of the worst parts of that version for me and many others. Cool on paper, but terribly executed. Hopefully the screens here don't make a return, as yeah, you know, this could be older footage. We then see some of the main coaster track itself. I couldn't find anything interesting here to point out, but it's really cool seeing a rare view of the track. I hope Aragog comes back. And finally we have the finale scene, which is now a physical set / screen hybrid, inspired by the version in the original ride instead of that awful one in Next Generation. We then have that version of the Tiki head from the original, which I pointed out had screens behind it in my previous video. But now we can actually see the screens in action, and yeah, like before it felt a bit iffy at first, but I think it will be much better in person. I do like the lighting effects. You know, this screen has potential to be really good, especially if it's tied to some cool tiki chanting audio or something like that. You can't see him in the footage, but Scooby will be back in this scene in some form.
A replica of the ritualistic scene, including a larger-than-life tiki head with Scooby-Doo himself farewelling you on your final drop.
It ends with Mike here talking about the ride's new merch. I also have a video myself where I look at all the items if you're interested, but yeah, this was a pretty cool preview video they made. It was really interesting seeing more of inside the attraction. I'm cautiously optimistic, while also trying to keep my expectations relatively tempered. As I'm sure many of you will know, I was very disappointed in how their Wizard of Oz land came out. Honestly, from what I've seen so far, I think Scooby 3.0 has a better chance of turning out well than not. One thing to point out though, it's strange that we haven't seen the new cars yet. I thought we would have seen a clip of them testing or something by now. The test seat was recently installed though, becoming our first look at the new cars. I gave it a try and it was pretty comfy with a decent amount of room. and the gesture at the front looks fantastic, nearly identical to the original. I'm extremely pleased with this, and hopefully the proper cars follow suit. So yeah, as of the 5th of December 2025, there's no reopening date yet for Scooby, but I think it will be sooner than later. I've heard rumours of soft openings, so be sure to keep an eye on the theme park grapevine. I'll be sure to post here and on my social media as soon as I hear anything. Anyhow, that's it. Thank you so much for watching the video. Please give it a like if you enjoyed it, and a big thank you to my YouTube members, the Ogre Bros and the Ogre Sisters, for your kind support. Thank you for watching. Please consider watching another of my videos. I'll see you there. Have a great rest of your day. Ogre out, Scooby!